Today I'm going to try to mash two patterns together in a completely different way. This is going to be different. This is going to be harder, but the end result should be pretty cool. So bear with me. Let's get this going and roll that intro. Hello and welcome, this is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL, and today we're going to try mashing up two patterns, but differently from anything that I've done before. So the first pattern is this, and I'm going to just copy this bit and bring it over to our work area. Control C. Bring it over here and Control V to paste it. I need to rotate that by 90 degrees. And enlarge it. Oops. There we go. And we'll move this up here, so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, the next one, first we need to anchor that layer. So the next one is this. So these are very, very different patterns, so mashing this up is definitely kind of weird. And it's not the colors, it's the patterns themselves, because I try to look past the colors. Control V, let's rotate that. In fact, we're going to actually change up the colors a lot. I've already picked out some threads that I like, and we're going to try to mesh these two together. That'll just fit in right there. Okay, so scale it and anchor the layer. So we're going to start here up here at the top. The outer color, this color here, where it's the yeah, this is going to be, whoa, Control Z. What did I do? Oh, gotta get to the paint tool. Alright, so that's going to be our outside color. Sorry, I didn't anchor that other one. This is going to be our outside color, and we're just going to bring this straight in from out there. The next color is, how can I make that more? Yeah, that's more like it. I think we're going to start along this edge here. So this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it comes all the way to the ends. Alright. So yeah, this is going to get really weird really, really quickly. Kinda don't want to veer too far from this because it starts with the pattern doing both sides. So let's go ahead. The two colors I'm going to run down the middle are yellow and orange. So let's take a look. Here's a yellow. And here is an orange. It's not the color I had is brighter, more like that. Oops. Not there here. So that sort of does this. And this sort of does this. I really kind of have to get this area nailed down, and then we can it'll go a lot faster once we kind of have the gist of how this works. And I think for the light blue, I think we're going to have to change the color for what we're using for the light blue, because it doesn't stand out enough against our background color. I don't know what to do with that. I guess that works. Alright, so it comes around that, goes here. One, two, three, four. So that's to here. And then it starts to do this zigzag. So actually, let's do this. Take the orange. Let's see where these are actually coming from. Take a look at this pattern over here, see what this does. So the two whites kind of come off to one side, the two blacks kind of go off to the other side. When they started out, they were even, the other one was even. Because we can copy one side and put it on the other, if we get this sorted out by where the strings are, we can do a big swatch of what needs to be done, and we can skip a lot of the actual designing, because when we flip this we don't want this part to be upside down. So I'm trying to see whether or not this is potentially feasible. We'll see. I kind of see how this orange now works. Orange comes in here. So yeah, I might actually have to do this the longer, slower way, but that's alright. It gets done. Zoom out a little bit so I can take a look over here. 1, 2, 3. So the yellow comes back here. Is that right? And then the black comes over and then comes up too. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 5. Alright, so this is kind of coming along. Not sure where some of the twists and turns of this happen. Like, where does this string then go to? It looks like it comes this way. Let's see what this one does. Oh no, it can't. I see now. It cannot, because this one is coming this way. We need this to come across and come out this way. So you can see in bracelet design, there's a lot to kind of take in and try to figure out like what strings are going where, how to make them do what you want them to do. Okay. Three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a couple more. And as you can see, we're kind of getting to where we can kind of speed this up a little bit. One, two, three, four. All right. One, two, three, four, five, six. So this is the sixth one. This blue comes all the way into where that is. Yellow, oops, the yellow came up here, comes down and does a little doodad at the end like it did at the top. So we're basically done. With the first of this shape. So that's pretty interesting. So now let's do, like I said, I want to do some tricks with the ability to copy things. So let's do this, Control C, Control V, get this move tool here. So we can see that we're kind of way off from actually getting this pattern to actually fit 4 times in there. So I think what we're going to do is shorten this one up by 1. So let me get the paint tool again, and we will kind of do a little bit of erasing. Shorten this just a bit. Having the prerogative to change up things on the fly. So there, we still have the same shape, it's just a little bit shorter. So now, let's once again copy this outer shape, Control C, Control V, get the move tool, slide that in there. Hey, look at that, ends up right smack dab in the center. Perfect. It'll end up being 4 of them, all perfectly lined up. Ooh, I actually got that centered in the squares really well. We can anchor that. Okay. In that case, seeing as how that's a perfect fit, we can Control C, come down here, and Control V, add the one shift. Oops. Get this lined up nicely. And anchor that in place. Now look at that, we didn't have to go and redo that whole thing. Let's do the same with the orange. Control C, Control V, and move it on down. And anchored. There we have it. Alright. You know, I'm still on the fence as far as whether or not we actually go and how we flip that. We'll have to see. I'm not really sure. Alright, we're almost done with the first pattern. And yes, we are adding in the other one. This is totally going to be a thing. So this color runs along the outside. Do it to the other side. Again, I kind of wanted to kind of copy and paste and drop things into place, but first off, this isn't too difficult, and secondly, I kind of need it into these one squares anyways. So okay, so there we have the blue that runs along the outside. We have this set up to where it goes halfway down. So I have to still fill in a lot of the underlying strings, and yeah, that's going to be kind of a tricky chore, but kind of worth it for a pattern that's this cool, don't you think? Oops. And I'm not really sure what's going on up here. Oh, I guess I do. I can see it. It goes right there. Figure out the oranges in a bit. Okay, so what is the color? So this one has this little green in here, and we actually have a sort of a lightish green. Sure. So that is what shows up here. Which is interesting. It only shows it doing the 3 knots. Why is there gaps here? I wonder. That is very strange. Let me take a look at the original. No, it only shows up for 3 knots, except that there's spaces or more. I don't understand. Alright, we're going to have to fill in a bunch of these strings to see what is going on in here. Because some of this is not making much sense. And again, because the center part is not a symmetrical where I can just cut and flip, I actually have to put in a lot more work with this. I will, however, have it easier on this outer part. So that's where if you haven't guessed it already, that's where the other bracelet is going on this pattern, is to the outer parts. We're going to split it in half and then make the pattern do some outer border type stuff. Whoops. I don't like hitting the black boxes. I think the black boxes kind of help visualize where the knots and stuff are, so when I accidentally paint them, it really annoys me. It used to be, I don't know if you guys remember watching videos back when, but the pattern used to have all the blacks were actually touching each other. They were connected. And the problem was is if you accidentally hit the black line, it would change all the black lines in all of this whole sheet. And the wife and I came up with this idea that if we just leave 1 pixel away from them actually touching, this problem of painting the whole thing would go away. And it was especially a problem if we were working on like a bigger pattern, like something where, you know, like a whole A4 sheet of paper versus, you know, just these smaller ones. It would take the computer so long to do it, and then you'd have to undo it, which would take a long time. And it was so difficult. So again, we're doing the easier parts here, right? These outer colors, because following their path is simple. And then we'll work on the inner colors that we can see the paths, which are slightly easier. And then we'll work out where the heck is this green coming from, because that is still a mystery. Mind you, you saw me copy and paste these big sections. Had I gotten all this inner stuff done at the same time, I could have saved myself a whole headache. Why didn't I do that? I don't know. I have no idea. So what strings are going under here? What goes? Okay, so they have two of these going on. Got it. So this is our dark blue. Got it. And where does it, whoops, where does it start? Outer and then here. I'm going to guess this is where we want it to be. I can hear my father-in-law and his helper having quarrels in the other room. I'm not sure if the mic is picking this up, but he is full of trouble and she's not having it. So kudos for her for standing her ground. Okay, so we managed to get the orange to connect as well as getting the yellows to connect. So far that's good. Now it's a case of these blues coming through. That seems to work out okay. And again, you can see like there's limited space of where it can actually it can't be anything else. It's literally this or else kind of thing. And I guess because we've added in more space, I guess that's why there's more green showing. It suddenly just dawned on me as to why that's even potentially a thing there. Whoops. This has to go this way. So then that blue has to come this way. Alright. So our first section is relatively in. We can now see where the green goes. So my plan is that later today I will get all the strings cut once I figure out how many of each color I need. Get all the strings cut and get Mandy to make a kumi for this and actually get to knotting on this actually today if I can. This is kind of exciting if you ask me. It's so different from what I normally do, and then when we add in that outer border, it's going to get even more strange, even more whatever. So there we have. We have the greens are in, or at least the first half. Alright. Oops. No time to be getting sloppy with the colors. This is bringing all these down here to the bottom means that we are ever getting closer to having this finished. I know this is probably one of my longer videos, but this is a much more complicated pattern, and I kind of want to show you guys how it comes across, because honestly, these kind of designs or whatever, I've just discovered people are selling complicated patterns over on Etsy, and my patterns are free. I welcome donations, but you can go over to AKAAWOL.com and you can check out these patterns, download the PDF, and make them to your heart's content. Yes, I would love to get some donations, or I would love to have you buy the bracelet that I actually make. But I'm also all for advancing the art and inspiring others to create these things, and there, and we got a little line over here. Whoops. Control Z. There. Always drives me crazy when the little ones like that get away. Alright, the orange does what here? It goes this way, this way, this way. And out. And then from this one it goes this way. It's so funny, like, it ends up being balanced, but like in this instant it is so far from balanced. It's funny to me how like that can actually even work. So yeah, kind of neat. And kudos to whoever actually made the original pattern for this. This is actually pretty cool. This is something that you just, I don't know, there's something about it. I like how they interlock with each other. I've done a lot of patterns based on real life things like links of a chain and stuff. This does not exist in nature, you know, that I know of. I don't know, so I don't know where the inspiration necessarily came from. And I'm not 100% sure about how the flipping part will go for the other side. We'll see. But the fact that by taking out one of the spaces and that it turned into a case of fitting our space perfectly. Mind you, because we're starting off a little bit higher, this bracelet will be just a little bit longer than the other ones I was making. So the other ones had more of the teardrop start. Well, kind of like a teardrop, a little bit different as well. I don't know if there's a name for it. Probably is. Somebody can leave it at that for me in the comments, whatever the other starts are where it's even. Oops. There. So we have the whole top middle section laid out. So now it's time to look at what are we going to do over here on the edge. I think for the outer part, does this just go to like that? I hate when they include this other little half a diamond because that doesn't actually represent what the pattern does. So yeah, it's just doing this. So the hope here is this makes it to the middle. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, so I was a little bit worried. See, this will, when it mirrors, it'll be perfect. If that had come up on whatever, I would have had to have backed it off and then started at the middle, which I probably should have done in the first place, but so that's how that one goes. Oops. Got glancing over at the other thing, not paying attention. So I still have a gray to use. So I wanted this color out here, which is the same as in here, to sort of have it all tie together. Alright, let's figure this out from down here. So this one here goes into one of these things. We need a gray. I'm actually looking at the actual color, the string I actually have, so I can kind of get it to match up some. So the gray comes up, back, up, back, up, back. Da, 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 da. And then stops and does this again. So that's how we get like a little break in it periodically. And so there we have where the gray goes. All right. So in here and up here we have a color doing something. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at this over here. So there's two of this color, there are two of this color. we basically have eliminated the black down the center because this is where the center would have been. So the black is pretty much out of it. The color that is left is here and here. So the question is, do we want that to be green? Because there's so little green going on in the rest, and it would actually tie in really cool right here. Or do we want it to be one of the other blues? I think, honestly, I think the green. Because when it does join at the center part, that's just going to look really super cool. See, we almost get like a little diamond over it in that part there. So again, you're getting the benefit of seeing me think aloud how I'm actually sorting this whole thing out as we go along. I don't know how many strands of green this necessarily means I have to have now, but we will sort that as we go along. And the fact that they went with so many of the whites makes me think there'll be some room in here to run a second one of these grays. Actually, I guess that's fine. So yeah, this is going to be something where even I would have to like really look hard at the pattern to make sure that I'm not messing things up, because there's just so much going on. But the reward will be that once it's done, the bracelet will be an absolute stunner. So again, I'm putting in the color that's obvious. This is, whoops, this is easy to trace. So would this green be? This is potentially, looks like I missed a little chunk right there. No worries, it's not mixed up on the other side or anything, so that's cool. Just trying to follow this along and not change it up too much. So that's that one. And then this one here, let's say this blue, where would it have come in at? It could have come in there. Now let's just say it goes there. So where would this green come from? Right there. So this is kind of easy. Might even make keeping track of the other little points easier to maintain. So that leaves us with 2 strings left. 1, 2, 3 greens already. We got 1, 2, 3 of the dark blue. Alright, so we can go with the gray for one of these. Nice. Every once in a while, I hit a square funny and it doesn't fill it in right. I don't know what that's about. It's really weird when it happens. So we are ever getting closer to being done, and I'm sorry if you've been a little bit long drawn out. But this is what it took to actually make it. This is me making this in real time. There is no, I did not rehearse any of this. I just went and did it. I think I'll just use a blue string for this. The blue gets used an awful lot. Hang on. I don't know why I'm so annoyed by those little things, but I am. I guess when I make the PDFs for you guys, I want them to look good. So that's the attention to detail, I guess. So yeah, when I pulled the strings, I figured there was going to be more of the dark blue. I only pulled 1 skein of the green. So I kind of want to make sure that I have enough. If I had ran 4 strings of green, I would have had to go find another skein of the same color. I already have 2 of the blues. So, and not that I had needed it up until this point, but now it totally justifies it. So yeah. Pretty much this string here just doesn't do any knots. It just takes up space. Alright, so now the guidelines. The guidelines allow me to use this select tool and snap right onto those lines. See how that is? And so now I can Control C, Control V, come over here, get the flip tool. Whoops. I need to flip horizontally, not vertically. And then get the move tool and slide that over and make sure that's all nice and lined up. There, look at that. Pinker layer. And now we have the 2 sides are all nice and matchy. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, now use the bigger lines. Control C, Control V. And now when we do the flip tool, we want it vertical. And we are not aligned. Whoops. One too far. Anchor. Oh, I do like it mirrored. I was kind of torn if this being upside down was going to be too much. But no, I really like that. This is... Wow. So there it is. There's the whole pattern. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around this long. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and leave a comment. Say something nice, you know, whatever it is. Just be nice. Yeah, I'll be back with more videos soon. Hopefully I'll be back with a video with this, because this is going to be brilliant. Alright guys, take care, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.